I just got to go see 28 Years Later, one of my most anticipated movies of this year. The brand new film, directed by Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland. It is the third film in the 28 Years franchise, this weird franchise that's unlike anything else that's really happened in Hollywood. There are these three movies that are kind of unconnected, that are very much connected in the sense that they exist in the same universe, and they follow the days, the weeks, and now the years after a zombie, or what is kind of a zombie outbreak. Now, 28 Days Later is one of the best zombie movies ever made. It's definitely one of the most iconic. It's a movie that definitely inspired stuff like The Walking Dead and The Last of Us. It's also one of the more experimental and unique films you'll ever see. If you watch the film, you could tell that just from a budget standpoint and a filmmaking standpoint, it is unlike anything else you're ever going to watch. It was a big breakout movie for people like Cillian Murphy, and of course Alex Garland writing and Danny Boyle directing became a super team, and it's just a fabulous movie that I think a lot of people love. Now, 28 weeks later, Danny Boyle, Alex Garland not involved with that one, but I always still had a lot of love for that film and Jeremy Renner, who is a big part of it. But now we have 28 Years Later, a film that's taken a lot of years to make, and I have seen it, and as you've read by the title, I'm a little bit disappointed. Why, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you why, because this is a YouTube review. I was really excited for this movie, mainly because of that trailer. I was not, somebody who's been calling for a 28 Years Later movie for all these years. Like, I don't really care all that much about this franchise. I love the original, obviously, but that trailer, the one that everybody's seen a million times, 11, 12, 1, that one, it was so epic. And the idea of telling a story in a zombie apocalyptic type of world, especially this world specifically, 28 years after that outbreak, jumping back into it and seeing the changes, seeing how society has changed, how people have changed, that was really fascinating to me, and I thought the trailer looked incredible. Now, there's a lot that I love about this movie. This is not a shithole movie. It's just a disappointing one. Not a bad movie, just not exactly a masterpiece like I wanted it to be. But some of the things I did like, the performances. There really isn't a bad performance in this movie. The main kid, who really is the main character of this film, does a great job. He reminded me a lot of the kid from Adolescence. He's just really, really good here. I also thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was terrific in what he's in. He's not in as much of this movie as I wish he was in. The parts that he is in, I think he absolutely steals. He's one of my favorite actors, and he's so strong and powerful here, and there's an edge there that I wish was explored a little more, an edge that we don't really get to see as much, sort of like this indoctrination to the culture of the current world that we don't dive fully into, that I just really wanted to see more of his character. Jodie Comer's here. She's also really, really good. Another strong performance from her. And then Ralph Fiennes plays Ralph Fiennes. Yes, we all love Ralph Fiennes, and when he does his thing, sometimes it's very evil and dangerous and scary, and you go, he's got to win an Oscar, and sometimes it's very light and beautiful, and you just love Ralph Fiennes, and you're like, maybe not an Oscar, but I want to give him like a hug or something. Yeah, you're getting one of those performances here. I also loved the actual use of the infected in this movie. They are terrifying. Make zombies scary again? This movie finds a way to do it. They are absolutely terrifying. We see different versions of zombies, and all of them are equally as gross, disgusting, and just terrifying to look at. The imagery that went into actually building the design of these looks is really, really deep. They're naked as well. Very naked. There's just a lot of interesting ideas thrown around with the visual side of how the infected look, which I appreciated. And the alpha infected, horrifying. I think this movie also visually is stunning. Just from a production design point of view, this feels like, a zombie apocalypse 28 years later. Like, you could feel that feeling. You could feel the nature taking society back over. I also liked that the visual style and the editing was very unique. I keep hearing the word experimental thrown around. I don't know if it's experimental. I don't know, just because it's different than the norm, you can call it experimental. But it's very different, and that's what Danny Boyle does. He does different, interesting type of directing and editing stuff that you're not used to seeing in film. So it can be jarring at points, but it's just something that I appreciated watching because it's so different than anything you were expecting it to be. I love a lot of it. I don't love a lot of the bullet time kills where like a zombie gets hit in the head and it's like, that's silly. We didn't need that many. And there's some other things that are a little bit annoying, but there's just like some scenes that are supposed to feel chaotic, and they really sort of sell the chaos through the edit and the visual style. There's this party that happens midway through the film, and I think it's one of the best edited scenes of a movie I've seen in a very long time. So what didn't I like about this movie, since the title is 28 Years Later is disappointing? I just feel like this movie could have been so much better. This movie could have been an epic odyssey, a giant tale of this world 28 years into the apocalypse, filled with emotion and a journey and a quest and something that could have been so terrific. But unfortunately, it is not those things because it is movie number one of a planned trilogy. And I think that is probably a mistake. Granted, We don't have the other two movies, and maybe the next two movies, one of them which is already filmed and coming out only like 6 months from now, so that's exciting at least, but these other two movies, when they come out, it might be like, okay, yes, this is one of the best zombie trilogies ever made. I understand that. I get what the story was. I get what Alex Garland's vision was of this 28 years later story, and it works. But for me personally, I wanted this to be a standalone film that told one story that added to this world. It was just a complete, gigantic odyssey that completed a trilogy. 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years, boom, greatest zombie trilogy of all time. And that is just not the vision of the filmmakers, and I think that's kind of my divide and where the disappointment came from. It's just that what I really wanted to see is not what they were intending. Therefore, we have a story that has a lot of setup. It spends a lot of time setting up what is going to be happening in the next films. It puts a lot of its interesting stories and interesting characters on the sidelines and says to you, well, hey, in the other movies, we will explore this more. For example, the main characters of this movie come from this community that clearly has a very intriguing culture, one that is almost cult-like, but the film never dives into it or really gives you any real concrete information on why some of the things in this culture are the way that they are, why they do some of the things they do. They just show you the imagery, and you think, well, we'll dive into it later. We'll dive into why Aaron Taylor Johnson is the way that he is later in the film, and we never do, because I'm assuming it's going to happen in the next movies, and that's a little disappointing. I wanted it now, and it could have been done now. This film also feels like two different movies. It very much is. It feels like two different ideas. Idea number one, this kid in Aaron Taylor Johnson out in the world trying to survive and make it back home. Idea number two, kid and his mom go out to look for Ralph Fiennes because of a very specific reason. These two films don't really mend together as well as I thought they should, because emotionally they're very, very two different kinds of movies, and the movie is constantly shifting in its tone, and it just never really felt like it found its footing in that realm. Especially on an emotional basis, this movie has an extremely emotional third act, a third act that should feel like one of the biggest gut punches of the year, and I'm assuming for a lot of people it would be. But I found the emotion in the third act to be very cheap. It was very easy. It was almost like, of course, if we just put this on screen, it doesn't matter what the context of the script is, or the context of the story, or the characters. This just imagery alone is going to make people sad, and make people feel things, but I just feel like it could have been done better. I didn't really feel much watching the ending of this movie, and I thought that I should be. I said this should be a tearjerker moment, and I feel nothing because the movie hasn't made me care enough. Just because I think the third act is just not very strong. It's a little bit disappointing, especially compared to the first act of this movie, which I think is phenomenal. And then we talk about the ending of the movie, which I see a lot of people crapping on the ending, and I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, the ending is a major, major tonal shift, and yet again, I'm going to be a little more generous with talking about it because it is a fascinating idea, and I've heard Danny Boyle talk about the ending and how it bleeds into the second movie, and it reminded him of Clockwork Orange, and like, there is some fascinating stuff there that I think could turn out to be a very, very different sequel that might end up being spectacular. So I'll be careful when I say the ending didn't work for me, but I'm open-minded to see if my mind will change on that when I see the next one. I'll keep you updated. Stay tuned for when the next one comes out. Overall, though, I just found 28 years later to be fine. It's a good, fun zombie film. It's got its scary moments. It's got interesting directing ideas. It's got really interesting writing ideas in that ending. It might, scratch that itch of an emotional third act. Maybe it'll make you cry and you'll go, this is the greatest movie ever. It's the type of movie that makes me feel like it's going to be a cult hit within like 6 months. There's going to be some people on the internet saying this is the greatest zombie movie ever. And you know what? I'm here for you. I hope you feel that way. But for me, I'm probably just going to forget about this movie until the next one comes out. So yeah, 28 years later, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. And you know what? A recommendation to go check it out. Why not? There are a lot of great movies coming out right now, a lot of great movies in theaters. So this one I feel like is just going to kind of disappear to the background very quickly, but still go check it out, maybe. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more notifications. I'll see you in the next one.